What's up, it's Miguel, and in this video I want to go over a concept that I learned from Charlie Munger. And the reason I want to go over this video is because I was actually grinding my gears for a very long time, for years as a matter of fact. I kept on consuming a lot of self-development information. I kept on going with my morning rituals. I was meditating every morning and I was writing out my affirmations. And it didn't get to the point to where I had to get to the point to where I was actually heavily frustrated with my situation, to where I needed to find answers and I needed to find them fast. So in this video, I want to share when I finally got that epiphany, and it came into me in a form of a video from Charlie Munger. And I actually, one of the greatest minds and one of the best mentors that I've had. And when you begin to listen to this, you actually see that it's so simple, but because it's so simple, it's actually very easy to overlook and to underappreciate the tool and the resource that he's giving you. He's giving you like the key to actually begin to be able to outcompete and to become a more proficient person overall. And not only for yourself, but within your own, like in front of your employers, for the market, and to be able to demand a higher wage so that you can begin to live the type of life that you want to without having to work 2 jobs and without having to DoorDash as a side hustle. I'm speaking from personal experience, and without having to sell stuff on eBay. Now, this may be a temporary solution, but for now, I just really want to dive into this information because I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So when I started listening to this, he gave a very simple curriculum. And this curriculum only consists of reading for 1 hour a day. Now the thing is that it sounds like 1 hour a day isn't going to make a huge difference. And because of that, it's very easy to disregard. But please, for the love of God, if you're watching this video, take this to heart and begin to act on this as soon as possible. Because very much how the concept of compounding interest applies into money, it very likely also applies to intelligence as well. The more you keep reading, the more associations you can keep making with other information, and the more it keeps on building within itself. So you begin to build a fortress of knowledge that only you yourself have access to. But in order to do that, you need to invest 1 hour a day. A lot of people may not have the time to actually be able to invest that 1 hour a day. The thing about that is that you really don't have any other choice, especially if you're struggling to make ends meet. In order for you to get ahead, and in order for you to actually get to become a more proficient person for the marketplace, you need to actually find the time. It doesn't matter whether you need to read during your lunch break. It doesn't matter whether you need to wake up a little bit earlier to read, but this needs to be your #1 priority. This is one of the concepts that he heavily focuses on, and that he says that without this, nothing else is going to be possible. So what do you read within that 1 hour? And this is one of the very first questions that I kept on asking over and over again. I just wanted him to get right into the details so I can begin to apply it as soon as possible. And he divides it into, he explains it in the form of a pyramid. And that pyramid is divided into 3 sections. The 50%, the chunkiest piece of the pyramid, is actually going to be, well, it's going to be up to you in a certain sense, but it's going to be within your chosen field. If you're a physicist, then 50% of the information that you're constantly consuming within that reading hour needs to consist of information within your chosen field. It needs to be anything that relates to whatever physicist it is that they read. I apologize, I'm not really sure what a physicist would read, but whatever it is that you're trying to get proficient at. If you're trying to get proficient at e-commerce, 50% of the information that you read needs to be associated with e-commerce. Now, one of the things, and I'm very biased in this because I feel like it's very versatile and it can be actually very applicable to any business, and you can actually become a lot more valuable to any company if you dominate these skills, and that's direct marketing. So in this is my own personal recommendation. This isn't from Charlie Munger. I would highly recommend that if you're looking for that, what to fill that 50% with in order to choose a field, choose direct marketing. Direct marketing can be applied to e-commerce. It can be applied to personal brands. It can be applied to brick and mortar businesses, and you can actually begin to get you can get quick money working for local businesses within your area. So begin to use that 50% to read within your chosen field. The next percent, which is the next 20%, it needs to be autobiographies or biographies of great people that paved the way before you. The reason he recommends this is because you begin to adopt a lot of the habits that you begin to read. I was reading a lot of Napoleon, a lot of well, actually I was reading a lot about athletics and stuff like that. And one of the habits that I kept on seeing time and time again was the sense of urgency, the sense to keep on acting, and the sense to just keep on putting the work, even when I didn't feel like putting in the work to begin with. That discipline began as soon as the motivation ended. So once you begin to read these autobiographies, you begin to associate yourself and you begin to see what it was exactly that made them as successful as they were. So that's one of the things that he heavily recommends. And if you need a quick start guide, he has more than a bunch of lists available on the internet. Looking through all of the autobiographies that he recommends, looking through all the books that he recommends, and you'll find more than ample information to actually begin your reading journey. Now the last one, it's anything having to do with a lot of like the anything having to do with history, psychology, or any of the other sciences. The reason this is very important as well, but it's the last 10%, is simply because you begin to have a deeper understanding of your chosen field and the autobiographies itself. You begin to create a web of knowledge, and you begin to actually associate a lot of the information, and you begin to connect the dots in ways that you wouldn't if you weren't reading them at the same time. So with that said, it's not an end-all be-all solution, but it's a very, very, very valuable exercise and a very valuable habit to pick up as soon as possible in order to begin to segregate yourself from the 90%, to start out competing other people, and so that you can become more proficient at your work. The way he explained this was very interesting. He actually used I believe it was a machine operator. So when this machine operator, he began investing that 1 hour a day. He began to actually look into maintenance. He began reading up on maintenance, and he began to level up his skills within his field. So after a couple of weeks, he wasn't only a machine operator. Now he was a machine operator that could also work on the machines that he was working with, and he could actually become more valuable to the company because he could just do the maintenance himself. After that, he actually began to look into programming. So not only was he eventually a machine operator that can work on his own machines and the machines of others, but now he could actually reprogram a lot of the machines so that they can work more efficiently, and so that he could become more valuable to the company overall. If you look at it into this perspective, at the very beginning, a lot of people are very hesitant because it sounds like I'm trying to benefit the company, and maybe in a sense I am. But yes, it's going to be more beneficial for the company, but at the same time, it's going to make you very, very irreplaceable. If somebody came in with a college degree, who's going to be more valuable? The guy with a college degree who has the piece of paper, or the guy that has the knowledge and the experience on how to work on the machines that he works with, how to maintain them, and how to reprogram them so that they can become more efficient overall. At the end of the 6 years, I believe he ended up tripling his own income just by simply applying this 1 hour a day method. I can't guarantee that it's going to happen for you as well, but you can begin to increase your earning capacity just by doing this alone. You can make yourself a more valuable person. You can make yourself a more disciplined person, and you can make yourself of more value to not only yourself, but to your company. And that's the only way that you're actually going to be able to make a case to keep on demanding a higher wage and to keep on climbing up that corporate ladder. So that's basically my little spiel for the day. And start investing that 1 hour a day as soon as possible. And it was really good talking to you. I'll see you on the next one.